Famously, I was one of those people that always kept my shirt on. Summer in itself brings some unique issues to those of us who are bigger. Just don't sell yourself short. Don't spend the summer in basketball shorts and workout shorts. Those are great to wear around the house, but sometimes you have to leave the house. Sometimes you have to go to picnics. But some people have that plasticky furniture that when you look at it, you think to yourself, if I sit in that chair, I'm going to flatten it. When you have the right shorts, when you have the right shirts, when you have the right shoes, and you know you are killing it, how does that make you feel when you leave the house? What are you presenting to the world? Let's go into this summer feeling confident, dressed right, knowing you are who you are, knowing you're the person that people want to be around, knowing you're the guy or you're the woman that people go to and people want to be around. Enjoy your summer, folks. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Big Man, Big Problems podcast. My name is Julio. I am your host. And, I created this podcast to really talk about the issues of being a big person, big man, big woman. My perspective is obviously big man, but we all deal with the same thing. So we are now entering the season of summer. And summer in itself brings some unique issues to those of us who are bigger. It's something that a lot of people really don't consider. They just transition season to season. But there's a reason why our favorite seasons are fall and winter. Why? Because fall and winter clothing is so much more flattering on people like us. So going into the summer, let's consider some of the challenges, okay? One of the issues has been trends in clothing. And for a lot of years, we have benefited from cargo shorts, from jean shorts, from knee-length shorts. And now we're entering into a little era where shorter shorts for guys are becoming really popular. My advice, don't even sweat it. Okay, maybe no cargo shorts. Cargo shorts are out. Jean shorts, I've never really understood. But there are a lot of options. I'll tell you what's a great option for a big guy, right, is golf shorts. So back in the day of Caddyshack, right, people would wear plaid pants, weird shirts or whatever, but golf shorts have become the norm. Since Tiger Woods, they've really expanded the availability of golf apparel. So those shorts breathe really well, stretchy fabrics. There's a lot that you can do. In other words, don't sell yourself short. Don't spend the summer in basketball shorts and workout shorts. Those are great to wear around the house, but sometimes you have to leave the house. Sometimes you have to go to picnics. Sometimes you're going to go on vacation. Sometimes you're going to go on barbecues or parties, and there's a lot of availability when it comes to that. Now, the difficulty comes in, how do those look on you? So what you really want to do, if you can, is go to a local retailer and just try some on. Look in the mirror. You'd be surprised what's available to you. Don't get into that thing where you're just going to wear baggy shorts or basketball shorts, or try some different stuff on. I have been surprised in the last year how many different things are available to you. In fact, just recently, because I don't have a lot of time, quite frankly, to go to retailers or at least storefronts. So I have ordered a number of shorts of different material, different sizes, different lengths, and I just bring them home and I try them on. And the ones that work, I keep, and the ones that don't, I send back. But once I find the one that works, now I can get different colors, right? You get a dark color for going out in the evening, a lighter color for day or picnics. But there's a lot of availability. Don't sell yourself short with shorts. So let's talk about shirts. Now, when it comes to shirts, we have several options, okay? You have a t-shirt, you have a polo or golf shirt, and then you have a button-up / camp shirt. A lot of us, at least from what I've seen, really get stuck like we do with shorts in the same trend. Like you're going to wear a certain type of t-shirt, or you like to wear a hoodie or something baggy, okay? I'm sure you're like me when you get dressed and you wear something that maybe feels a little more fitted, maybe something outside of your baggy comfort world. the people in your life look at you and go, wow, that looks nice. They say that because it does. Don't always wear baggy. There is a myriad of options when it comes to going out now for different types of shirts to keep you cool in the summer. Because, hey, let's be honest, wearing something and being hot and sweaty is an issue for us. There's a lot of, again, golf apparel that is breathable. There is a lot of camp shirts now. And when I say camp shirts, I mean the button up ones that you don't tuck in that are also breathable in a lot of patterns for going out for picnics or whatnot. And even t-shirts now. It doesn't have to be some kind of goofy t-shirt with some kind of logo on it. Just a lovely V-neck t-shirt or a crew neck t-shirt. Doesn't have to be one of those goofy ones with the pockets. It could be really nice. There's a lot of options for you. But where do you find these things? I have found personally that shopping at retailers that are specific to big and tall sizes has done better for me than going just into a store and going into their big and tall section. Um, I have tried stores like J.C. Penney. I have tried stores like Kohl's. They have big and tall departments. Those aren't too bad. You have to wade through. You have to find your style. There's stuff there for young people. There's stuff there for people over the age of 65. No matter what it is, they put them on a really handsome 25-year-old model, so they all look modern and new. Don't be fooled by that type of thing. Take a closer look, okay? If the shirt has an elastic waistband, maybe stay away from it, okay? If the shorts have that kind of pleated elastic around the waist, maybe that's not for you if you're trying to look a little more fashionably dressed. So take a close look at it. Take a close look at the colors. But what I have really found is going to an online retailer or a storefront retailer that specializes in big and tall sizes really does fit our size better. What you don't know, though, is which of the actual manufacturers of those clothes fits you the best. And that's where you have to try a lot of different things. If you go to DXL, for example, which is a place that I shop at a lot, you'll find that certain brands work better for you than others. Back in my early years in the 70s and 80s, there were no such thing as plus sizes, really. There were just larger sizes. Unfortunately, as a child, when you went to Sears for clothing for school, they called the section for those of us who had what's a nice way to say it, a larger BMI than others. They called it the Husky section, which was tough. Shopping in the 80s and 90s, still not of a lot of availability or specific retailers for big and tall sizes. They used to call a suit for somebody who was a little bigger in the middle, portly. So there was a slim cut, right? There was a regular cut, there was a tall cut. And unfortunately for us, we had something called portly, which a lot of people don't even realize. One of the positives to today's world, even though you have seen a large trend towards things like slim fits and athletic fits, skinny jeans, right? You know, you've seen a real trend towards those, a big move towards athletic wear, which tends to always go to obviously more fit, more slender people. Some of those have had the availability of larger sizes. Some of the retailers like Lululemon refuse to do larger sizes, which is unfortunate for a lot of women, but true. Luckily, other retailers and other manufacturers have come out specifically for women for plus sizes when it comes to those types of things. It really hasn't happened that way for men unless you go to a specific retailer that does big and tall for men, which has happened in the last 25 years, which is fantastic. So when you go into a men's retailer, specifically big and tall, they not only have suits and have eliminated the phrase portly off of their suits, but they also have athletic wear, golf wear, casual wear, dress wear. They have something for every occasion. So some of the brands, one of them specifically, Ralph Lauren, like Polo, has always catered to larger sizes or given larger sizes. Unfortunately, the tough thing with Polo, the mid-range where I am, the sizes don't do a lot for you. They do great when you're in the sizes of the 5X and above. They do really well when you're XL or XXL and below or tall. But when you start to get to a 3X and a 4X, I think that's where they fade off. All right, so we covered shorts, we covered shirts of various sizes. Now let's walk into shoes. So this is a particular area where I think a lot of big guys, I don't know, I'm going to be honest, big girls got this one covered, right? Big girls love shoes. There's a lot of different options for them. Guys, when it comes to shoes, especially big guys, really make some really bad choices, right? They like to wear maybe some big clunky gym shoes. And, guys, that's not really a summer thing, right? Summer thing is more fun, fashionable footwear. There are a lot of options to you, okay? Maybe a flip flop, which I understand you can blow out a flip flop, so maybe that's not the best option. But man, men's shoes in today's world has gotten so cool, right? From slip-ins and even these cool like type dress shoes with the white bottoms and whatnot that are cool on your feet, right? I'll tell you one thing that I do. I try to have one or two or three different pairs of a same type of shoe in different colors. Because what I find is if I wear one pair of shoes too long, let's just say I'm as tough on my shoes as I am on my mattresses. Okay. There's a lot of pressure going in there. There's a lot of weight going in there, and it's easy to blow something out. If you have a few different pairs that you alternate, you could probably make your shoes last a little bit longer, and it keeps your look a little fresher. Okay. So, you don't always have to show your toes, right? You don't always have to show your heels. You could do things that are a little more flattering and covering, right? That you're not stuffing your foot into, that are really, really comfortable. Because at the end of the day, it has to be comfortable. It also helps if it's a little bit fashionable, because when you have the right shorts, when you have the right shirts, when you have the right shoes, and you are killing it, how does that make you feel when you leave the house? What are you presenting to the world? Confidence. That's a big deal. All right, so we covered summer clothing. What else happens in the summer? You get invited to a picnic. You get invited to a backyard barbecue. Okay. The issue with those is not necessarily the food or the fashion. The issue with those, in my opinion, is the outdoor available seating. Eventually, when you're outside, you're going to have to sit down. And some people do a really good job at having decent patio furniture. But some people have that plasticky furniture that when you look at it, you think to yourself, if I sit in that chair, I'm going to flatten it. Truth is, you just might. So don't sit in the chair. Usually, there is an accommodation. Usually, there is a chair that you could sit in. If you feel like that's not going to happen, bring your own. Find the place. When you get there, scope it out, right? Don't be afraid of the picnic. Usually, when you're going to a picnic or a barbecue, people already, they invited you. They know you. They know who you are. They're not going to put you in a position where you're going to be uncomfortable or you're going to be sitting in some uncomfortable seating. The other thing I want to talk about is more vacation type situations. When you go to a pool, when you go to a beach. My question, my concern is, do you take your shirt off? So if someone invites you to their house and you go in a pool, do you take your shirt off? Or are you one of those guys that jumps in wearing a t-shirt? I got some news. It doesn't look any different if you're wearing a shirt or not wearing a shirt. My opinion is let your freak flag fly, guys, right? Just take your shirt off, jump in, go wholehearted, be confident. Famously, I was one of those people that always kept my shirt on. And when I was ready to get on the plane to go to California back in 2009 to go on The Biggest Loser, my best friend called me and he said, Julio, I have been on vacations with you. We've been to parties and pools and oceans and everything. And the first time I'm ever going to see you take your shirt off, is going to be on national television. I just think that's crazy. And I said, you're right. But since then, since I took off my shirt in front of I don't know how many tens of millions of people, I now have no issue. At this point in my life, I'm not afraid anymore. At this point in my life, people know who I am. People's for me, they see my confidence, they see my presence, they see my joy. They don't see a guy with his shirt off anymore. They ignore that and they see the rest of it. So if you wanted some advice from an old guy who's been through it all, take your shirt off. They're good with it. You just need to be good with it. And what you need to do is go into this summer feeling confident, dressed right, knowing you are who you are, knowing you're the person that people want to be around, knowing you're the guy or you're the woman that people go to and people want to be around. Enjoy your summer, folks. If anything I said here was interesting to you, if anything you have a comment or any part of this you want to talk about, let's talk about it. Leave me a comment, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, fill in the comment section, good or bad. If you're one of those people that doesn't want to see a big guy with his shirt off, let me know. Talk to me about it. If you're one of those guys who has no issue, let me know. Talk about it, and we'll bring it up on the show, and we'll talk about it in a future podcast. But until then, we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening.